In North Wales, at the Boston Lodge carriage works of the Ffestiniog Railway, a very special train carriage is being renovated. This is the Metropolitan Railway Jubilee carriage number 353, one of the oldest surviving carriages from the world's first underground railway. Now, to mark the 150th anniversary of the London Underground, London Transport Museum is restoring it to its former glory. Carriage 353 was built in Sheffield in 1892 by Craven Railway Carriage and Wagon Works. It's known as a Jubilee coach as it was built to the same design as carriages first constructed during Queen Victoria's Silver Jubilee in 1887. It was a first-class carriage for the steam-powered Metropolitan Railway, which grew into the London Underground as we know it today. At the time, travelling on this carriage was something that only high society could afford. Businessmen with top hats and pocket watches would enjoy a smoke while their formally dressed wives would peer out of the windows from London's new suburbs all the way to Baker Street and on to the heart of the city. In 1907, the Metropolitan Railway was electrified, so Carriage 353 and 7 other carriages were sold to Western, Clevedon and Portishead Light Railway. Repainted and renumbered, it now carried holidaymakers along the picturesque Bristol Channel, linking the coastal towns. But this tranquil time could not last forever. In 1940 the railway went into liquidation and Carriage 353 was transported to Swindon Works, where its underframe was removed. It has not moved on a railway ever since. Now, over 70 years later, this is going to change. Carriage 353 is being made a new underframe, which has been created using pieces from 2 other carriages. Its wheels, brakes and heating cables will all be newly fitted. Because of this, the restored carriage will actually be in some ways better than it was when it was first built. The new components meet 21st century health and safety regulations, which are a little more stringent than they were when it was originally built. The wooden bodies of many carriages were destroyed. Carriage 353 owes its survival to a series of imaginative owners who found alternative uses for it. Each owner made alterations to fit their needs, and with each change, less of the original carriage remained. As a result, the restoration of its interior is extremely challenging. Carriage 353's first transformation was during the war, when it was taken to Shrivenham for use as a military tailor's. When the war ended, it became a cosy clubhouse for US Air Force staff until 1954. In the post-war housing shortages, the carriage was transformed into a home for a quick succession of families. After the last family moved out in 1956, it became a cobbler's shop. In the 60s, it was crammed full of furniture as an antique shop, and then finally in the 70s, it was used as a farm outbuilding. In 1974, Carriage 353's frequent transformations ceased. The farm was sold, and the new owner gave the carriage to London Transport in exchange for an old platform bench. From then on, it was kept safely in the museum store at the depot in Acton, as a cherished link to the early days of the London Underground. In 2010, London Transport Museum received funding from the Heritage Lottery Fund and London Transport Museum Friends to transform Carriage 353 back to its former glory. It was picked up, hoisted onto a lorry and transported to North Wales. The restoration work has been uncompromising in its detail. Fortunately, in spite of all its changes of use, it has retained many of its original features and structure. Over time, some of the wooden panels have rotted, been damaged or split, so the restorers have had to cut these out and replace them using new wood. The original panels that could not be reused have been broken down for reuse elsewhere, for minor repairs to other parts of the carriage. The restoration team have been like investigators, finding scraps of evidence to piece together how the carriage would have looked. Any original features that have survived have been installed into one compartment on the carriage to give a really authentic experience. Any non-usable parts have been used for repairs or to guide replicas. The original pinch gas lights are long gone, so the team have had to make replicas from scratch. They have researched drawings, photographs, and even markings found on the carriage roof to make sure they look authentic. They have remade many missing parts by copying existing parts. For example, 2 original enamel door signs have survived, enabling accurate replicas to be made for the other doors. These 2 years of work are coming to a close, and Carriage 353 will soon be returned to the way it was when it was first built, as a first-class carriage for the London Metropolitan Railway. It will be a wonderful glimpse back in time to the earliest days of the London Underground.